guys, and welcome back to my podcast where we talk about all things weight loss. On this specific episode, I have Cristina. She goes by MYCURVYDIARIES on Instagram. I'll put her little info right here. We talked about so many different things, like always on all the podcasts, but we talked about family support and how her husband has supported her during her journey. We talk about future plastics. She is a year and 3 months post-op. She got her surgery in 2019, November. So she's pretty close to my date because I got it in August 2019. So it was really fun to talk to her about the struggles that we are both facing, our restrictions, how things are changing now that we're a little bit further out, and so much more. If you guys haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment down below, share it with someone that you feel would benefit from this video, and if you guys are interested, then please keep on watching.
Do you see any messes that I need to clean up?
No, I see your
Okay.
dog in the back.
Okay.
Okay, so just like kind of how we started off is just what you want to talk about, like maybe where you got your surgery, your name, where you live, all that good stuff, whatever you want to share with us.
Okay, perfect. Well, my name's Cristina. I go by MYCURVYDIARIES on Instagram. I got my VSG surgery. I actually had to count this out because I lost track of how long I got it.
Too.
After the year mark, I honestly stopped counting. So I'm 14 months post-op this month, which is crazy to me because I feel like 2020 flew by because of COVID, but I got it done here in Idaho, Boise, Idaho. I just found like a general surgeon who did VSG as well. My insurance covered it, thankfully, because it's expensive out of pocket unless you go to Mexico. And I have lost, I believe, a little over 100 pounds in the 14 months. I've stalled and actually gained like 10 pounds. Well, 5 now, but
I was gonna ask you about that because I always look at everyone's Instagram and stuff before because I'm like, trying to find things to talk about. And I was gonna ask you that because I also gained 10 pounds. So I got it in 2019. You did too, right? Yours
yes. I got it in November. You got it in August, right?
Yeah. So we're not that like August, like 3 months. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And does it feel like such a long time ago or?
Yes,
yeah,
it does. I don't even remember what it was like a year ago.
Yeah, like there's days where I still feel like it just happened yesterday, and then there's other days where I'm like, oh my gosh, no, that was a lot, like almost 2 years ago. Really,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like summer's about to be here in a blink of an eye. Like it's so crazy.
That is true, yeah.
I know. So you said you went through insurance. Was your process like, did they make you do classes or like, how was it for you?
There was no actual like classes I had to go to. I mean, there was, I just had to meet with my surgeon or his office like once a month for 6 months before they approved it. I think technically I would have gotten approved, but I think insurance needed that like 6 months like trial to see if you would even like try to lose weight. But even if my insurance would cover it right away, my surgeon still had a 6 month, like he would not do the surgery unless you committed to going to him for 6 months and like eating healthy and like all the prerequisite stuff, because he's like, I don't want to set you up for failure, like you need to know what you're going to be doing this like. And I didn't really get it at first. I was kind of like bitter, and I'm like, can I just take my money, like let's do this. He's like, you need to prepare mentally, and I didn't realize how much this would take like a toll on you mentally afterwards, because it's not just like, oh, I can't eat. You can keep eating whatever you want after surgery, you just have to like not eat crap after surgery, you know what I mean?
It's so crazy because I remember feeling like that too. Like my process took a while. Mine took about like 10 months from like my first actual actual appointment with my like general doctor, you know what I mean, before I even started. And then it took 10 months, but my classes were 6 months, and then I had to wait like about 4 months for my actual surgery date. And I remember waiting and like just being so desperate, like just wanting to do it. But it goes by so fast, like, and that's what I tell people, like when people message me like, oh my gosh, I have to wait this long, and I'm like, I know I don't want to say this because I hate it when people would tell me this, but it goes by so fast, like you can't even catch up, Do you feel like you struggled? I mean, you lost the weight. How tall are you?
I'm 5'4" and 3/4, so almost 5'5".
I'm 5'4" too. What was your starting weight, if you don't mind?
I was 246 was like the heaviest that I weighed myself. I'm pretty sure I was heavier before, but there was that point in my life where I just never got on a scale. But starting out, I was like 246.
Okay. Did you so you went through insurance. Did they tell you that you were like, were they difficult about it? Because I know I've known other people that are around like your stats and they weren't approved with surgery because
At all. So
no.
I don't know if my insurance was just, I honestly don't know. I went through the 6-month trial and they didn't even submit for approval until right after my 6 months was up. And I got approved within like a week and a half. It just got like, they did all the paperwork. I never even talked to my insurance, honestly, besides calling to make sure that they did cover the surgery. And then even then my doctor's office did it all and I got approved super quick. So I was shocked. I don't know if I had PCOS, so maybe that had something to do with it. But my BMI was over 40. So I think after 41-ish, you get approved. But I think I was like right borderline where I needed a comorbidity to get approved. And I think PCOS qualified me for that. So maybe that's what did it.
And that's why everyone's cases are just different. That's why like I've known people that are around that weight, like 240, 230. And because I live about an hour from the border, like Mexico. So a lot of people here go and get like every surgery in Mexico, you know?
Yeah.
And some people get declined here for VSG or bypass or whatever, and then they go and get it there because they're not heavy enough. Or there's been doctors that have literally told them like, you need to gain 20 pounds to be approved.
So I went to like a different doctor before I found mine because he was like the best one in Idaho or whatever. So I went to his office and he like literally would barely even give me the time of day because he's like, oh, PCOS is not a comorbidity. You're not going to get approved. And then like he had me talk to his insurance lady and she literally pretty much insinuated like, you need to gain like 5-10 pounds and then you'll be good.
Yeah.
I was like, is this really, like, I was so upset. I'm like, I never went back to the doctor's office and I just found
the things that they tell you, but it sucks too because it's like, there's some insurances that are stricter and like the doctors, like, they're not supposed to tell you to gain 10 pounds.
Yeah, you're like, sir, I'm here to try to get better, you know what I mean?
But it sucks because they're saying that so that you get like approved, you know, but that's just crazy to me because it's like gain 10 pounds or like don't lose weight. Like in my whole trial, my 6-month trial, I lost like I think it was like 15 pounds literally 2 weeks before my surgery because
I lost 10 pounds the week before surgery and it was mostly the liquid diet anyways.
Because I knew, well, they didn't say you have to lose weight. They just said you better not gain weight. They were like, if you weigh 1 more pound than like the beginning of the program, you're not getting surgery. Like even if you walk in that day and you're like, oh, it's water weight, you're not getting it. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And it sucks because like my classes, I had 6 months of classes once a week, super strict. And I didn't lose weight. I think I gained weight because, and I've talked about this before, I think it was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to eat this. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to do this. And I ate more because I was like, you know what I mean? Like I was
that you're like, oh, I'm never going to be able to eat this. And I feel like that's a really big misconception with VSG or like bariatric surgery, thinking you can eat it. You shouldn't eat it, but you can like, and I feel like that was what scared me the most after surgery. Like I thought mentally like, oh, if I eat a donut or take a bite of a cookie, I'm going to get sick and my body won't be like, I won't be able to eat shitty food, but my body didn't react bad to any crappy food. Like, I can eat a donut and like, sure, my stomach might get upset, but it's not painful to where you don't want to eat it again. So like for me, that was hard because I'm like, crap, I thought the surgery was going to help me not be able to eat. No, you can eat crappy food. You just mentally, you shouldn't still, you know what I mean?
There's so many things that people think. Like I've gotten messages like, do your cravings come back? And I was like, yes. like
I don't think they ever went away. Like
I think honestly it was like the first month where I was like kind of grossed out. I like had to go back to the hospital because of dehydration and stuff. The first thing I ever ate was like a boiled egg and like
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and it grossed me out and like it put me back on, you know, like in the beginning. But I was like, no, my cravings came back right away. Like I wanted to eat stuff, but like I knew that I couldn't. And I don't know about you, but like in the first year, I didn't Okay, when did you do you remember eating something that you were not supposed to? Like the first time.
Girl, I was bad. Okay, so I don't know if I've told people this. I don't think I was like awful. The first like 6 months, I was like a hardcore, like, oh, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. Yeah. But let's be honest, like I had my surgery like a week before Thanksgiving, and girl, I like me some mashed potatoes and gravy, okay, and stuffing. And I remember going to my mom's house and she was like, what can you have? And I was like, I brought my chicken broth. Like, I'm good. And I saw everybody else eating and I was like, I like literally went in my husband's plate and I took a bite of stuffing with mashed potatoes and like gravy. A week after surgery, I was still supposed to be on liquid diet for like 2 weeks and I had a bite. I was like, I'm already failing at this 2 weeks later. And I remember like crying about it, but I was like, dang, that was good. Like, you know what I mean? And I was lucky enough and my stomach didn't really get upset or anything. But that's when it hit me like, I can still eat whatever whatever I want. Like, this isn't, like, surgery is not the easy way out because it doesn't stop you from eating bad things. That's still all you mentally. Yeah. Like, yeah, you might get a stomach ache, but in my case, I didn't even get that. You know what I mean? So like, I would eat like French fries.
And you don't get sick?
No, girl, I can eat a few French fries. Even now, I'm like, ugh. When I first started, I remember I could only take like maybe like a bite of a hamburger, and now I can get like pretty much through the whole thing. And I'm not talking like a big, huge like habit burger or anything, but like, you can eat a damn burger if you really try.
Yeah, that's why like I love having people on here at every stages. But like when people are close to mine, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna ask them questions because like, am I like? Because yes, like a burger, there's times I can not the whole burger. I can definitely eat half of a burger. Yeah. There's things like pizza. I've eaten like a slice and a half. And I'm just like, oh shoot, okay, wait a minute.
Does that shock you where you're like, remember like 3 months ago where you couldn't even eat a full slice and now you're like, I can put down a slice and a half and like, I mean, I'm a little stuffed, but it fit, you know what I mean?
No, like, yeah. And I tell people that because they were like, people message me and they're like, how was your restriction at 9 months? How was your restriction at 12 months? And I was like, completely different from 9 to 12. Like, I remember, a protein bar. I remember this specifically because I love protein bars. Around 6 months, I could only eat half of a protein bar. And it depends which one, because I don't know. Are you big on protein bars or no? Not really.
Not too much, no. I hate, honestly, I'm the worst with protein because I feel like it tastes really chalky to me. I don't know why.
Some, like the Quest bars, I'm like about, but like the Quest bars keep me full because they're big and like, they just keep me full versus, have you ever had the Power Crunch bars?
Those little thin wafer ones, I like those. Those make me feel like I'm eating a snack.
Yeah, those are good. I love those. And those, completely different. Those don't keep me full. I can eat it. But I remember at 6 months, I could only eat half. And now I'm like, I eat it in 2 seconds. And I'm like, okay, I just swallowed that.
You're like, where'd that go?
But yeah, now that we're further out, like we can eat a lot more. And so you've never like gotten sick, like throwing up or like?
No, even after, I think the only time I've thrown up after surgery was literally right after surgery. The day, I think it was the same day after surgery, I was like, oh, I can start drinking stuff. And I remember eating like a full popsicle. Like it was pretty much melted at this point, but I ate the popsicle and I literally puked it up right after. And it hurt like a mother. Like I was like crying and the nurse was like, just put the pillow next, because like the stitches were like, felt like they were ripping, and it was just awful. Like, and never again, I was like, I don't want to eat anything. And like, but I never got sick after that. Like the first 2 days in the hospital, they kept me an extra day because I puked twice and I didn't keep enough liquids in.
Yeah.
And my doctor was super anal about me drinking a certain amount before I could go home. And he's like, I'm going to come here between surgeries and see where you're at. Like, keep your cups. And I was like, can I just dump the cups? And my husband's like, no, because we're going to end up here.
Was it like those little like 2-ounce cups or whatever?
Yeah. And he was just like, I want to see your cups and keep track. Like, even if it's just ice chips, just like if you eat two like 4 ounces of ice chips, that's like 2 ounces of water pretty much. So just like, double it and stuff if you're doing ice. But even then I was like, it was hard. The first few days, it was hard to drink like anything. But I never got sick. Like, I've had donuts. Okay, I didn't really have like a donut or a bite of a donut till like maybe after 6 months, because like shitty, like really shitty food. I waited. Yeah. I was scared. I didn't want to try it because I was like, I don't want to like I know I like those foods and they were addicting before. I didn't really want to set myself up for failure. So I waited. But like donuts and stuff didn't make me sick. And I know that some people eat like sugary stuff and it like
And I mean,
makes
a
them,
donut has like all the sugar in the world. So you would
yeah,
think, you know, yeah.
that it would make you sick. It didn't. Like sometimes even now, the only thing that upsets my stomach the most are grapes. I don't know why, but
So
if I eat grapes, I'm like, oh, even after eating like one or two, like my stomach does not like eating, like grapes is not a thing right now. I'll
random.
still eat them, but I'll eat like two and I'm like, I feel like I'm stuffed after two grapes, like tiny little grapes too.
So weird. Like
It is so
so
weird.
weird.
Cause
Yeah,
I'll eat
I
like,
think if there's anything like for me that makes me super super full. I mean, honestly, it's so crazy because there's a couple of girls that I talk to like daily, and they're around my same time frame, and I'm like, okay, restriction. Like, do you guys feel it? And they're like, I don't feel it when I snack, but I feel it when I'm eating what I'm supposed to be eating, which is true. If I'm eating like chicken and veggies, right, or like salmon and veggies or whatever, I feel the restriction like this. But when I'm eating popcorn or chips or something, I'm
you
like,
can eat like a full cup and a half, right? And
yeah,
it's
I'm
just
like,
like,
what is happening? I can just keep eating. Like, it's so weird,
yeah.
So I'm like, I guess I'm normal because it's scary. It's scary when it's like you're eating like that and you're like, come on. Like, remember before when you would eat like a handful of something and you felt like you ate like a Thanksgiving meal, like you were done. You were so done. And now it's so different.
Yeah,
So
even like not being able to eat a full egg at first, like for the first like 3 to 4 months, I couldn't finish a full egg. Like I tried so freaking hard, and I was like, I don't even want to add cheese to my egg because I don't even finish the one egg. You know what I mean? Like scrambled eggs and stuff. And
yeah.
like right now, I just had an egg on top of like an avocado thing with like those little cauliflower crust things from Trader Joe's, and I ate the full thing. I mean, I'm stuffed, and I feel like sometimes I push it to where I know I'm full, but I'm like, oh, I'm gonna finish just 2 more bites, but then I'm like really full, you know?
Yeah.
But I ate that and it was a whole egg, and I'm like, literally like a year ago, I couldn't eat a full egg.
And isn't it crazy? Because I remember in the beginning, like in my classes, they were like, listen to your body. It's going to tell you when you're full. And I'm like, I've like never felt that in my life. Or like I guess I ignored it because I mean, I did feel full, but you keep eating and I would never get sick or anything. I was just like, my stomach was, I wish at your hospital, well, because I know they do this in Mexico, like people have pictures of like their stomach, like when they take out their stomach. And I really wish that I didn't ask or anything. I really feel like he would have been like, no. But in Mexico,
I wanted to ask too, and my husband's like, don't be a weirdo. And I was like,
because
I want to see.
And they're like this big because
they're blown up, huh?
Yes, we made it like humongous. And I'm like, I wonder how big it was. Like, I wonder how much I stretched it. I'm even like kind of curious to see now, like if I stretched it, because I know that they could do something to see if you did. And I'm like, oh my God, no, that gives me anxiety. Like, I'm like,
me too, especially since like consciously that you already can eat way more than you did at first. And I'm like, I always feel like I don't know, maybe it's just me, but now that I can eat a lot more, I'm like, does that mean that my stomach has stretched, or does it mean that it's just healed enough to where I can eat? You know what I mean? And it's like, I know that sometimes I push myself to eat more than I should, and I don't know why. It's like a mental thing for me still. Even like 14 months post-op, I still struggle with eating and stuff. So I'll overeat, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm stretching my stomach. And in my head, I'm like, how many times can I overeat before my stomach goes back to what it used to be, and I like freak myself out. So I don't know. I'm curious to see.
That's how I am. Like, I'm an overthinker. So I think of all these things and I'm just like, oh my gosh,
And we always just think about the bad things. We're not like, hey, we've lost 100 pounds. That's freaking cool. But
I know it's like, it's so hard. Like, I try to focus on like the positive, all of this, but then I just start thinking of like, okay, wait, look at like, the stats of like people gaining their weight back, like all of these negative stats.
Or people who don't do as good after surgery too. It's like, it's crazy to me.
I know there's people that I know that have gone in and only lost, like 30, 40 pounds and stuff. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it happens. It does happen. I was so scared that was going to be me. But I think like with me, with my, like how I am as a person, like if I have a goal, I'm like, I have to do it, especially like my doctor scared me. Like, he was like, this is like a once in a lifetime. This is like the most drastic thing you can do for weight. Like, there's nothing more dramatic. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he's like, you can't waste it. Like, we can't redo the surgery again. Like, we're cutting your stomach out and that's it, you know? Because I remember people asking in the class, like, okay, so if it re-stretches, can you redo it? And they're like, no, your stomach is like a balloon, like, basically. And if they were to redo it, it's gonna get thinner and thinner, like this, whatever the outside of it is, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh. Has anyone in your family gotten it? Like,
No.
no? Does your family struggle with weight, or were you like one of the only ones? Or
I feel like my mom has gained weight recently, but not for the most part. Most people in my family aren't very heavy, so I feel like I think I was the heaviest at one point. Not anymore, but I feel like I think I just gained weight after my second child, because even before then I wasn't like a size 00 in high school, but like a good like size 7 or 9, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like 135 pounds, 140 back when I was 18 and whatnot. I think the lowest I've ever been was 125.
Okay.
And even then it made it like I looked sick because I was too skinny for my body frame.
Yeah.
But and then from 125 to 247, like that was a big weight gain in like maybe 3 years from just having kids and PCOS and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But nobody in my family is very like morbidly obese or even like heavy. They might have like a little gut, but it's not like, you know.
Yeah. And if you don't mind me asking, like, during your pregnancies, did you gain a large amount of weight during your pregnancies?
So with my son, I feel like I kind of did. It was about 60 pounds. I got up to like 180 maybe, but I lost the weight super quick afterwards. My body bounced back. I think I was just still young. I was like 21? No, I was 20. And my body bounced back. Like you couldn't even tell I was pregnant like 2 weeks after, like literally my belly shrunk. I was like, what is this? You know what I mean? Like most people still have like that, you know. My body did not do that, which is weird because I get stretch marks super easily.
Yeah.
And I got a few stretch marks, and my body still, like, it wasn't bad. I didn't get my stretch marks till after my daughter. And with her, I only gained 20 pounds, but I was already at like 180 and then got up to like 200 pounds with her. But then that weight didn't come off with her. Like I think between my son and my daughter, I gained weight again.
Yeah.
And then it just didn't come off after my daughter. It just got worse after that. So I think I got PCOS after I conceived my daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you want more kids or no?
I do. So that's why I haven't even like looked into plastic surgery, because I'm like, again, with the whole stretch mark things, I know that my skin elasticity sucks. Like I just know it. It didn't, like, I have sagging skin everywhere all over my body after losing 100 pounds. So I'm like, don't want to get a tummy tuck to where they like snatch me up. And then, yes, I've seen people like get a tummy tuck, get pregnant, and it'll just bounce right back, right? But my fear is like, if I get pregnant after a tummy tuck, I'm gonna have loose skin. Like my skin will not snap back, you know. And now that I'm older, it might not even, you know. So I'm like waiting. I'm like, one more kid. I don't know. I'm 29 right now, and I'm like, do I want to start the clock all over again? You know, like right now my kids are 6 and 8. Like they'll be out of the house by the time I'm 40. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
yeah, I'm 29 and I don't have kids, and it's crazy. Like I have a lot of friends that have kids younger, and they're already like 10. 8, and I'm like,
I mean, I would say don't rush it, because like you lived your 20s, right, without children. I had kids. Sometimes I wish that I would have lived my 20s, you know, without children, because I didn't do the whole crazy party scene or nothing. Like I was a mom, you know what I mean? So I feel like I wish I would have got to enjoy that time. But now that you know, I'm 29 and my kids can be out of the house, and then I can do my crazy traveling after that, you know what I mean? So it's like, my husband jokes about it. He's like, do you want to sign another 18-year contract, you know, because that's another,
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I talked to, like, you know, that I just recently got my tummy tuck. And
yes, I wanted to ask, how's that going?
Yeah, it's going really, really good, actually. And that was my biggest thing. I've said it before in a lot of my videos. I was like, I'm not getting a tummy tuck, so I have kids. Like I say it a million times. And then not something clicked in my head. It was so weird because my starting weight was 304. I was really heavy. I'm 5'4". I'm as tall as you. So when I lost 100 pounds, I was still 204, right? I was like, wow, I lost 100 pounds. And then the next 40 pounds that I lost, by 100 pounds, I had loose skin, obviously. But the last 40 pounds, when I lost them, it was like loose skin extreme, like on my stomach. Like my arms, like I have loose skin, but my arms are
Yeah,
not big. I've had like
uh-huh.
my arms have always been small, my legs have been small. Like it was weird because like my wrists, I have tiny wrists and they were like this like when I was big. So that's I knew, I was like, my body is not meant to be, I mean, no one's meant to be big. But, but it was, I started getting like rashes. It just became very uncomfortable to the point where I was like, dude, am I gonna have to deal with all of this like when I'm pregnant? You know, like all the rashes and all of that.
Yeah.
And I went to go talk to my plastic surgeon, and that's what he told me. He was like, look, are you gonna deal with rashes for, let's say you have 2 kids, 3 kids, even back to back? How many years is that? Like 3 to 4 years, 4 to 5 years. And you're gonna deal with your loose skin, you know? I saw your loose skin on your Instagram, and I don't live in your body, so correct me if I'm wrong. Like, you have loose skin, but do you feel like you have a lot of loose skin? Like, does it really?
I don't know. Do you want me to show you? Is that weird?
No, go ahead. Because I don't think that you do, because I was looking at your pictures right now.
No, I do. So you can't really see it when I'm wearing, like, right? Oh, yeah. You can't see it at all. Yes. But if I, like, it's there.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And it's like very,
oh my God.
I mean, it's not bad, but like
tuck, you're gonna be like, you're tiny, but when you get your tummy tuck, you're going to be tiny. Like,
I know, I really want to so bad, because like I already, like my waist, like if I put like a tape measure on my smallest part, it's like a 31.
It's small. Like I can.
So I'm like, if I had no loose skin, like I think I would be smaller. And my husband already thinks I'm tiny, but he's been so supportive. Even when I was like pretty large, like we've been together for 10 years. We grew up together essentially. Like we had kids really young. So he doesn't see anything wrong with my body, but I'm like, I don't want this like hanging over my crotch, like literally. And this might be a little TMI, I don't know, but like you're like freaking pelvic area, like you lost skin too. And there's just like skin there, and then there's your other skin. Like it's so bad. I literally hate it. And like trying on like shorts or anything or jeans, sometimes like I'm tiny up here, and then you see the, you know, and it's like, why can't that extra skin be on my butt to where at least it looks like there's something there, you know what I mean? Like I don't really have a butt.
For sure. I mean, I don't know, like it's obviously it's up to you, but no, like I even asked about that, like, okay, I want to have kids, what? And he was like, well, he was like, I have to wait a year. They said you have to wait a year to even consider like trying or whatever, because of your decision, you know, obviously. But he basically said like, depends how much weight you gain, right? Because look, if I get pregnant and I know I can eat more, it's gonna be up to me. Am I gonna gain 30 pounds? My mom is 5'2". She's pretty small. She gains 25 pounds in her pregnancies. Like that's what she's gained. So I'm like, it's possible to gain that, right? And then I know people that have gained 100 pounds. Like you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But he told me it depends how much weight you gain. And he's like, you are going to have loose skin, but not like how it was. And I was like, you know what? If I have to touch it up again when I'm 29. So if I have to touch it up again in my 40s or something, I mean, it is what it is. But I had 10 pounds of skin. I can't even believe that.
If they could take 10 pounds off of me, I would be like 135. And I think I would be golden. Or even if I got down to like 130, I think that would be great. So I'm like,
he didn't think it was going to be 10 pounds because he says skin doesn't weigh a lot. So when I went in for my consult, I was like, how much skin do you think it is? And he was like, skin doesn't weigh a lot, probably like 5 pounds. And then after my surgery, he was like, oh crap, like it was 10, legit 10 pounds. Yeah. And then talking about like your, you know, your little private area,
because sometimes they go down to like, I think it's called your mons pubis or whatever, and like lift it up a little too. I've done a little bit of research.
Yeah. So when you go in, tell them what your biggest concerns are. That honestly, that was my biggest concern. Of course, my stomach was, but I also struggled with that. And what he told me is, so if you see someone's tummy tuck that like maybe, I don't want to say just have kids because that sounds wrong, but didn't lose over 100 pounds, right? Like, for example, my mom had 4 kids. My mom's, she had me at 18. So my mom's 40, she just turned 48. She wants to get a tummy tuck, but my mom's small, but she has loose skin because she had 4 kids. So her tummy tuck scar is going to be just like a straight, very simple line. Compared to mine, because I had 10 pounds to remove, mine starts from hip and goes down and goes up. So it's different. I've had people comment, like, because I have my tummy tuck videos, and I have people comment literally and tell me, like, where did you go? Like, your scar, what? Like, why did they do it like that? And I'm like, you obviously didn't watch my whole video. Because
it can also be preference too, because I've heard people want the more, like, you know, the incision to be more like this because they wear their underwear up over their, like, you know what I mean, to make sure your, like, thigh and your hip, like, you know what I mean? So it's just
the reason he did it like that for me was because of the way my belly fell. It's just different for everyone. So, like, even if you were to go to my exact surgeon, yours would look different than mine because your body's different than mine. But when they do it low on your pubic area, it pulls it. So it makes a huge difference. Like,
right. So that's literally, that's all I'm looking forward to, because sometimes I'm like, what is this right now? Like,
like a bathing suit and stuff. I literally was wearing, like, I mean, I had my belly, but, like, I was wearing shorts and stuff, and I was like, dude, I lost 140 pounds and I'm wearing, like, shorts, and it's annoying. Like, even right now, it's kind of like, oh, like, I don't feel comfortable. Like, it's starting to get hot. Like, today it's like 85 where I live. And I'm just like, I'm starting to buy, like, different bathing suits and stuff, but I'm still self-conscious because I'm like, it's so weird that this is, like, my body. You know what I mean? It's it's weird, but it's a blessing. Like, and recovery, I don't know. I don't want to say it wasn't anything like, it wasn't bad for me, but then I see other people and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why are they struggling so much? It's just so different for everyone.
It's different for everyone. Yeah. So I really, really, really want plastic surgery, and I do have 2 kids, and I do want another kid. So I feel like I've been searching for surgeons, and I feel like it's so hard, because I always told my husband, I'm like, don't ever let me go down to Mexico and get surgery, because that scares the crap out of me. Like, I might not be back, and you might be a single dad. Like, I can't. And I like I said, I'm an overthinker, so I was like, I can't go to Mexico. Don't let me go. But I've seen all these people have really good results, and they paid 15 grand for what you would pay 35 to 40 here, you know. And in Idaho and Utah, it's way more expensive. Those are, like, the major, like, surgery hubs around me, unless I've gone to California and stuff. But I'm like, I don't want to pay 40 grand for a mommy makeover, you know what I mean?
I mean, Mexico is Mexico, but, like, Mexico, there's really good doctors. You just have to do your research, you know. I mean, even here, there's bad doctors. It's just people getting scared and stuff, you know. You just have to really do your research. I don't know.
And I feel like just going out of the state too, because if you come back, you're, you know, whoever's in town locally might not be like, oh, I can't fix this because I wasn't the original doctor. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm an hour from TJ from Mexico, right? And that was why I didn't do it. I did it here because I was like, what if something's wrong with me? What if I get an infection? What if this and that? I want to be able to go. My doctor's office is, like, literally 5 miles from here. I want to be able to go there and be like, look, you know what I mean? Mexico, it's more of a process. Even though I'm an hour away, you still have to go. It's not like a border to get to there, but still, it's not easy, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I thought about, but it's crazy because here, like, not every doctor, post-op is very different. Like, over there, like, Mexico and Colombia, they, like, put you, like, in a, you know, like a faja, like a girdle thing, ASAP. It's just because they want, it's more of, like, the curvy bodies over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus here. And I don't know, it's just different.
It's different. Yeah.
Here, you know, it just depends what you want and what you're willing to do. Have you talked to your insurance? Do you think that'll cover?
So I switched insurance since I had my surgery a year ago. So my surgery now, I just went with, because me and my husband we're doing our separate insurance now. Back then I was on his insurance, but I went back to work. So then I got under my insurance, and I just got, like, the basic insurance, just, like, preventative and nothing, like, crazy. So I don't think my insurance would cover skin removal right now unless I upgraded and went to the higher insurance. And I should have done that, but I didn't think about it. And, like, the benefits just redid in January. And I'm like, I didn't even think that was a thing until, like, afterwards. Like, I totally completely spaced it.
I have, like, the basic one too, just by the way, but I got my surgery February 1st. So what screwed me over was the whole new year and all your deductibles and everything.
Yes.
So, like, I've talked about it in my videos. I paid into my insurance basically, but I basically paid the same price that it would be without insurance. So, but basically I paid my entire deductibles and stuff for the year. So, like, I'm golden, like, if I needed it, right? Or whatever.
And it's still early on. Who knows?
I know. Exactly. But That's what happened with me. But I have the basic one, but they want like proof. They want like a reason. It has to be medical. So like,
Yeah, and I don't really get rashes under there and stuff, which is
like
weird
what
too.
about like they also say like, do you have like back pain? Do you have like, those are the, are you
like my boobs are still kind of big. I thought I would lose more boobs, but like I still have a lot of boobs. I think if I lost more boob, I would lose like 10 pounds, but I can't. Like my boobs just want to chill. I don't know. I'm like, can these go away too?
They ask you those questions. I mean, they ask you about like, do you have back pain? Like, just say yeah. Do you have back pain? They literally ask you like a survey, like, do you have back pain? Are you like depressed? Are you what else were they asking you? Like, there's multiple things, like if you're feeling a certain way to get approved to get it. But it's only, not all the insurances, it's only the I never know how to say this word. I know you've done your research a little bit. It starts with a P, where it's just the removal of your skin. It's like a penectolectomy or something like that.
Okay.
When you Google it, so that's what your insurance covers, or what most.
So then anything extra that the surgeon might do, you probably pay out of pocket and stuff. Yeah. Kind of like with the breast lift, like when you get, because I've researched for that too. If you get like a breast reduction, they'll cover the reduction part, but if you want an implant, the surgeon can't like do it. I mean, he can, but you have to pay out of pocket or do it on a different surgery date. Like,
exactly. And that's what happened with me. Like it covered. So when you look at my insurance, even though I paid for all of it, basically, it says covered insurance penectolectomy, and then it says tummy tuck and lipo out of pocket.
Okay.
So it was done in the same surgery. It was just what was covered by insurance and what was out of pocket. Yeah. It's just the way insurances are. But I mean, yeah, it's something to think about. But it's crazy. Like, you lost so much weight, and how do you feel like health-wise, energy-wise? Is it?
I feel like I feel better. I sleep a lot better for sure, and I don't snore. My husband's like, you don't snore anymore. I'm like, great, you still snore though. So, and that's a big plus, because he's like, sometimes you would snore so loud, and like after surgery, and not obviously right after, but he's like, sometimes I'd have to like tap you and make sure you were breathing, because I couldn't hear you breathing at all. Like you were like dead asleep. I couldn't hear anything. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's
like something like that like changed. Like, that's so crazy to me.
I did lose a lot of hair though. This was mostly extensions. You can't really tell because they're like the hand sewn one.
Have extensions in. It looks so good.
And I do it myself too. I'm a cosmetologist, a licensed cosmetologist. So like I don't like paying for people to do my hair because I'm cheap like that. But
it's expensive.
It is. It's like sometimes there's people here that's like $2,000 to install like 2 rows of like the wefts, but like you can't even like really see it. Like,
is it sewed in or is it clipped? It's sewed.
So I put, there's like little beads underneath.
So cute.
And then you sew the hair to the little beads, like the bead track. Like you sew the wefts, but you can't even see it. And I can put my hair up in a ponytail and you can't tell at all. But the fact that I can do it on my own head, my husband's like, you should go back and do hair. And I'm like, I don't like people that much. I don't know if I want to deal with that, you know? Like
my sister, she's a cosmetologist, but she works for MAC, but my sister can do hair and makeup, right? But she does really good hair, but she doesn't like doing hair. She loves doing makeup. She said hair takes way too long.
It does.
She's like, and it's expensive to charge. And then people are like, oh my God, it's so much. But she's like, people come to me like wanting to be blonde and their hair is black and they don't understand why I'm charging so much and that I'm not going to turn them blonde in 1 second. Like she's like over it. So that's why she likes doing makeup, because makeup, it's like, 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
You're gone. Bye. You know, like
no, I feel you. So I did makeup for a little bit. I did like bridal and stuff and did some freelance for a few years. Over hair, I mean, I went to cosmetology school and I paid for the full thing. I should have just done like a makeup course if that's what I wanted to do. But I thought I wanted to do hair, and then I was like, some people are like, I want to be blonde. I'm like, do you want to be bald? Because you have black hair right now. There's no way we could do that in one session. You know what I mean? Like,
it's so crazy because like right here, my hair looks pretty dark right here, but this is my natural hair color. I don't remember the last time I don't have any color in my hair. And I remember the last time it's been like that. And the other day I was like getting the urge to like want to go light. And I was like, oh, like, do I really want to deal with that? Like, I don't know. It's a pain.
That's where I'm at right now. So my natural hair is like this dark right here, but I have lighter pieces, but they're the extensions, and you can't see that they're the extensions because I, blended it in pretty good. But like me going lighter, I would only probably do the lighter extensions and then maybe do some face framing highlights, which I want to do for summer. But I'm like, can my hair handle that after this like surgery? And
Is hair still falling out right now? Like, do you feel that?
No, it's not falling out right now, but I lost a lot of hair. Like I have like all of these are like baby hairs that just will not grow, and it's on both sides. Like it's hard to see because I have extension, but like all this is like pretty short, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't see because obviously my extension. People think this is my natural hair, and I'm like, no, girl, I'm bald. Like there's no hair in there.
Though. Around what time? Around like how many months post-op did you start losing your hair?
Like 3 months, and it was bad. Like I would literally have panic attacks in the bathroom because I would just go like this and it would like fall out, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I think it was probably worse because I was really bad about taking my vitamins. I'm still bad about taking my vitamins. So I got surgery in November, and right after that, not right after, but like January, and I mean, I guess it wasn't right away in January, I kept putting off my post-op. So I went in for my post-op in like my 1 month, but after that, I didn't really go back to the doctor because then COVID happened, and even trying to get an appointment, and like you couldn't really go in unless it was like necessary and all this stuff. So I just didn't go to the doctor for almost a year. And then I went to my regular physician, and she did blood work like almost a year later. And I had like really bad low iron, but that was like it. Even though I haven't really been taking like my vitamins, like at all, which is don't do this if you got surgery. But I am the worst. Even before that though, I knew that I was bad with vitamins, you know what I mean? And I thought about like taking just like things you put in your drinks, which they have vitamins like that, or just like swallowing the capsules. I don't like tasting vitamins. Like
I tried to do the capsules, and it's been like maybe 6 months, but I tried it once and I did throw up. So then I went back to chewables because it was like, and I did it at work. It's like, don't try anything new when you're at work. Like, no. You can do it. For some reason, I was like, let me try it. And I did it at work, and immediately I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to throw up. And it was just water because at that point, so I always, for breakfast, I always have a protein shake, right? With coffee. That's like my go-to. But think about it, when you're eating, when you're taking a vitamin, that's not food. It's all just liquid. So it wasn't absorbing it, I guess. And I threw up. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I just went back to chewables because I don't think my stomach can handle that. Maybe if I ate like a breakfast. So I know that you get creative with your foods. I see your Instagram. Do you change it up? Like, or like, what's your go-to meals like for breakfast?
It just depends. So sometimes I'm really lazy. Like with breakfast and stuff, I usually literally try to do eggs just because eggs, you can make them a million different ways and just eat it. And if I'm running late for work, hard-boiled eggs, literally as I'm driving, I just eat like 1-2 of them with like one of those little like Tillamook cheese, and that's it for breakfast. Like it depends. If I'm home, I'll make something, but if I'm going to work, like I work 12-hour shifts, so I'm like on the go, literally eating. But for dinner and stuff, my husband's pretty good about at least throwing like protein in a crock pot while we're at work, and I come home and there's protein. I can have a side salad or like just even just the chicken or steak or whatever, you know. But I need to get better about posting what I eat. And we went on vacation last week, and I had already gained 10 pounds last month. I don't know if it's just the fact that it's been a year and I feel like I stalled, but I gained 10 pounds and it like really made me super sad. And
I was doing some research the other day. I mean, I know why I gained 10 pounds. You probably know why you gained 10 pounds. But I was doing my research, and I was reading some articles, and it was saying that a lot of people after gastric sleeve and bypass, they'll get to their lowest weight, right? So let's say it's like 150, and a lot of people gain 10 pounds, and like that's kind of like where their body, I don't want to say body stays, but like it's kind of like they get to their lowest and then they gain 10 pounds, and it's kind of like where their body is happy. That's what I read. I mean, it doesn't mean that we have to stay there, you know what I mean? But I did read that it's pretty common for people to get to their lowest weight, stay there, because I stayed at my lowest weight for a long time, and then I gained the 10 pounds. So I don't know. Do you want to lose more weight, or are you content, or do you go back and forth?
So my husband thinks I'm crazy, but I feel like I can never be skinny enough, and I just want to keep losing weight. And he's like, oh, you're fine. Like if you get a tummy tuck, you'll be good. And I'm like, no, I want to be like 120, 125. And he's like, when we met at 18, you weren't 120 and you were tiny. Like, I feel like I'm skinny. Like, my face, for sure, I saw pictures when I was 18. My face is slimmer from when I was 18. And it's crazy to me because I'm like, I'm 140, like, okay, 146, 148. It depends on the day. But like, my lowest at 141 so far was like, what, in December? And I stuck at that like 141, 142 weight until last month. And I jumped up to like 149, almost 150. And I was like, what the heck happened? And I know I was eating, and the snacking really gets to you, like, if you're not eating healthy. But I think I would be content at 130, 135 after plastic surgery. So I need the skin removed, and then I think I would be good.
It's crazy because like it's when you get your stomach done, it's gonna be completely different. Like, it's so weird. Like, for me, my lowest was 160. I never broke 160, and like, I played soccer and stuff, so like, I have a lot of muscle on my legs and stuff, and that's what my doctor kept telling me, because I'm like, when I went in for my tummy tuck, I was like, do you think I need to lose more weight? Like, tell me the truth, like, before I get it. And he's like, no. He's like, no. He's like, it's your skin on your stomach. He's like, everyone can lose more weight, but it's if you want to. When I got to 160, it's weird. Like, it's hard to explain, but when I got to 160 with my loose skin, right? I felt like I was really skinny. Like, I see pictures of myself, and like, I felt like I had a lot of wrinkles, and like, I was more like sucked in. Like, I see videos and I feel like my face was really skinny. And then I gained 10 pounds, and then I got 10 pounds removed. So I'm back at 160, but with my skin removed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I gained, but I lost it with my skin. Yeah. So now I'm a little bit more content where I'm at. And like, of course, there's days, like my bad days, when I wake up and I still feel like I'm 300 pounds and I'm like, I want to lose 10 more pounds, you know?
Yeah.
But I really feel like that's going to be like a life battle. Like, I feel like we're always going to be like that.
Always, yeah. And I know what you mean, where like, sometimes you'll have bad days and you're like, you still feel like you're that heavy when really you're freaking not at all. And I've had people like at work notice, like, hey, what are you eating? Like, I've seen you lose weight. And like, I'm just like, oh, you noticed? Because I don't really see it.
Yeah. Have people told you that you're too skinny?
Yes. And people tell me that I need to like stop losing weight. My mom will tell me, she's like, oh my gosh, you're too skinny, you need to stop. And I was like, Mom, no, I don't. Like, I still want to lose more weight. And she's like, no. And even people at work that have seen me for like, 10 months, I've been at my job for almost a year now. But another thing, so we have to dress down and wear like uniforms at work. And I went from a size 14 to a size 8 in pants, and the 8s are too big right now. But they're like those like weird khaki pants that like don't really fit right, and you like size up like 4 sizes. So right now I can fit in like a size 4 jeans, and even at like Target I fit into like a size 2 skirt. Like,
that's crazy.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, how are my work pants an 8 right now? But even from a 14 to like an 8, which is loose right now, like, I've lost all that weight, and people at work have noticed, like, girl, where your clothes are falling off at work. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's crazy. I don't know. I feel like I will always want to be skinnier and tiny, like a paper.
And how do you feel about that? Do you feel like, I know we always want to fix something, because even like when I got my tummy removed, it's so weird because I never noticed. Like, I always said, oh yeah, I know that I have loose skin on my thighs, but not really. And it's so weird because now that they removed my stomach, now when I put like a bathing suit on, I notice my skin is loose on my thighs, but it's like I focused it on something else. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. The constant focus on something different, and then you're kind of like, dude, like, are we ever gonna be content? You know what I mean?
That's what I always wondered too. Yeah.
And that kind of sucks, because I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be where it's constantly something. You know what I mean? Like, I remember, oh my gosh, once I get my skin removed, like, I don't care about anything else. And then it's like something else. And then it's like something else.
I feel like there will always be something else. Definitely with me, I know that will be the case. So I need to stop. Like, I just recently started getting Botox and fillers, because I feel like after losing weight, like, my skin was just like, and like, I could see a wrinkle starting on my forehead, and it wasn't bad. But I'm like, preventative. Like, I can't fix my stretch marks. Those are already there. I can prevent the wrinkles from coming. And my husband's like, dude, you just turned 29. Like, you're fine. There's no wrinkles. And I was like, but they're gonna come. You know what I mean?
But
and
I mean,
so,
we
like,
lose a lot of weight. It happens too. Like, it happens to me. And like, I'm really like light. So, I I don't know, like my sister, she says like people that are like more light skinned tend to have more wrinkles. And I did get like more wrinkles when I lost weight. And I mean, we lost weight like this, right? It was fast in a year or whatever. So I feel like your body's trying to catch up. But so how I don't know how it works with Botox and stuff, but how many times have you done it? Like, did you feel
So I just went on my birthday, right when I literally went when I turned 29 on my birthday, because I was like, hey, birthday, but it's so expensive. And fillers, like I literally spent like $2,000 just to get like 3 syringes and like,
yeah, my friend just got things done, and she was like, it was expensive, but I don't care, because she's 29. Also, we're both gonna be 30 this summer. Like we're both 30, and we've always talked about it. And she's like, I just did it. And she's in LA, and LA is expensive for everything. So I was like, oh my gosh, but I don't know.
So I only got a few units of Botox on my forehead. Like I can't really move this, but the end of my eyebrows move, but that's the only thing. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's crazy. And then I just got fillers like under here and a little bit on my cheeks, because like my smile lines were like sunken in, because I lost so much volume on my face that it was just like, it didn't look as full, and it kind of made me look a little sick, I would say. Or like you could see this really bad. So she just filled in a little bit right here, and it wasn't bad. I think I don't have to go, like Botox is every 3 to 4 months, I believe. Depending on how quickly your muscles gain their strength back. Because I think Botox is like
Was it painful?
No, I mean, for me it wasn't, but I think beauty's pain. So she did numb me up pretty good, I would say. Botox, she didn't numb me up because the needle's super little and she just pokes you, and it's like a little poke. It's nothing bad. But like the filler needle, like I was like, oh my gosh. Like even with the numbing cream, like you could hear it because it makes a little popping sound. And I was like, and then I looked like I got beat up afterwards. Like I was swollen, and I was like, what the heck did I just do to my face? Like my husband was like, how much did you pay for that again? And I was like, I'm gonna be beautiful. Just give me 2 weeks, okay? Like
you don't know how your skin's gonna react. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. So I swelled up, girl. It was bad. It was so bad, but
it looks good. You look good. Your skin looks really
It's the makeup, okay?
Your skin looks so good. So I know you said your husband was super, like, he's been supportive with all of this. How was he like when you first brought up that you wanted to get VSG?
So when I first brought it up, he was like, oh, you can just go to the gym and lose weight. And like for years, I feel like I struggled. I hired a trainer. I spent money on a trainer and eating healthy. And like he saw all the work I would put in and nothing would come out. And like I think it took him a minute to realize, like, yes, it's not going to be easy for everyone. And with my PCOS and my hormonal issue, it was like, for me, I felt like it was way harder. And he saw the toll it was taking on me. And then he was like, you know what? My insurance covers it. Like, I think somebody at his job got it. Okay. And he's like, hey, I think my insurance covers it. Let's call and figure out, like, if they'll pay for it and stuff. And like, that's how I found out. Like, he's been at that job forever, and we didn't even know that they had that. You know what I mean? Yeah. As like a benefit. Mm-hmm. And so as soon as I found out, I was like, I'm getting it done. Let's go to the doctor. Let's get a referral. Let's, and it worked out fine. But he's been super supportive this whole time. I think now he does get a little more jealous than before. Okay. Because of the extra attention that you get from like random people online, or even just in general, like people that wouldn't really pay you much attention before, and now all blowing up your DMs and stuff. And it's kind of like, I think it's a little, I lost weight, and I feel like he gained a little bit of weight as I was losing weight. So I think just that was a little hard for a minute. But I think, I mean, he loves it. He thinks, that I'm perfect. He thought I was perfect then. And when we go back and see pictures, he's like, dude, I never saw you that big. Like, ever. Like, I never in my mind saw you as that person. Like, you've always been the Cristina I met when we were 18, you know what I mean? And it's like,
because you don't notice it. Like my husband says the same thing, and I'm like, dude, how did you let me be like that? He's like, I did not see you like that at all. So yeah. When you post before and after pictures on your Instagram, I look at that and I'm like, what the heck, because there'll be like a picture from like, I don't know, like if it's like from a vacation or something. He's like, I remember being on that vacation, and like I did not see you like that at all. Like, it's insane. Yeah, it's so crazy. That's so good that he's supportive though, because that's like, it's so important. Like, this is already so hard, and imagine being with someone that doesn't support you. Like, that's, I can't even imagine that, because like my husband is super supportive with all of it. Has he well, I know you said a little bit that you've brought up like your tummy tuck and stuff. How is he with that? Has he been supportive with that, or is he kind of like,
I think he understands to where there's like loose skin. He doesn't really care about it. to him it's not a big deal, but he knows that, like, obviously, like, I think, and he knows that in my head, if I got that removed, I would be perfect for 5 minutes until I found something else to nitpick over. But like, so he wants to, and like we just keep going back and forth whether we want another kid or not. Like right now, two is too many sometimes. But and then we don't know because we have a boy and a girl. So do we really need another kid? Do we not? Like, are we gonna do it soon? Like we're getting older, and I feel like to him, like we had kids when we were young, so we didn't go out and get to live our life like most 20-year-olds would. So like I think he wants to like, hey, we should be done with kids. But if we're gonna have one more, like let's get it done, you know? And I'm like, I'm only a year post-op, so I don't know if I want to like, you know, risk it and like
Did they tell
what
you
could happen.
did they tell you to wait a year, or did
They said 18 months, so a year to 18 months. So I, even then, I'm still kind of like freaking out about having another child because I just feel like I overthink again, and I just feel like everything could go wrong. You know what I mean? I think of all the worst possible things, and right now I feel like we're content where we're at with our family size, so I haven't decided yet. And I always think like I could get a tummy tuck and like, you know, look the way I want for a while, and if I do end up wanting more kids, then I, you know, end up having more kids. So we go back and forth whether we're gonna have a kid this year or next year, if I'm gonna get a tummy tuck this year, and it's like, you know,
that was literally me. And like it's hard because it's like, you know what I mean, but like time goes by so fast, so it's kind of like
and that's why I'm like, dude, 9 months will fly by. Like, let's just get it done. Let's just have one more kid. We'll be done with the kid, and then you can have a freaking surgery after your kid. You know what I mean? Like,
no, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, there's pros and cons to both. You know what I mean? But it's also nice to know that, like, because a lot of people think like just because you have a tummy tuck you can't get pregnant, and like that's so not true. And a lot of people think that, and it's like, I don't know. It's just, you know.
And I always think like you can have a revision after if you absolutely need it. So it's like I just need to do it. And I think I'm mostly scared to go do it and like who to go to and stuff. And there's a surgeon that I follow on Instagram that I'm obsessed with. I think it's Dr. Joseph Michaels. He's over in Maine, I think. So like I'd have to drive or fly pretty freaking far to go to this guy. But I'm like, he's like the Da Vinci of belly buttons right now. And I want my surgery done by him so bad. But at the same time, I'm like, I could literally go to Mexico and get it done for half the price and have it look just as good. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like that's another reason why I haven't really committed yet, just because like deciding, and I'm very indecisive. So like I will, like right now, I have two options, right? And then 3 months from now, I'll have a third option added to the mix and make it harder, you know?
It's so crazy because like with me, I literally only went to one doctor. And that was because my insurance, because I went through my insurance and then they sent it to him. And I talked about this in my last, I think 2 podcasts ago, how people like, because they don't have a social media, they think like people always ask me like, give me your doctor's Instagram. I'm like, they don't have an Instagram. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, they don't have an Instagram. Like I went to the doctor. I said, can I see your before and after pictures? They take out like, you know, pictures. And I'm like, oh, but it's because now, because Instagram is so big, you like want a doctor that has like 10 billion followers, right?
Yeah.
Their before and afters. But everyone's always like, wait, what?
I know. And I followed him for a few years. Like I feel like he wasn't very big back in the day, like 3 years ago. And then he just blew up. Not like a ton. Obviously he's not like Dr. Miami blow up, but and I back in the day I was like, I want my body done by Dr. Miami, but I'm like, it literally looks like you're at like at a factory and it's like boom 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 done, boom boom boom, and it's like so like I don't want that, you know what I mean? And it's insane to me. Or like I know that some plastic surgeons will do the surgery, but like other people will stitch you up, like close you up. And I'm like, no, bro, if I'm paying you $35K, you better start to finish. You know what I mean?
And I mean, your incision line, that's really important. Like there's like my incision line, it's all like, of course there's like, you can feel it, but I've seen some that it's like bumpy all the way, or like there's something called dog ears. Yeah. Where it's
or the dog flaps. Yeah,
and I don't have that, but they can't promise you that because it depends on how your skin reacts. It depends if your body, like if people get keloids and stuff. It's how your body is, even with your belly button. Like with my belly button, I was so scared of it, and like I'm pretty content with it now. And I'm only 2 months post-op. He's like, seriously, like your body changes so much month to month, month to month, that if there's any type of revisions, they don't even consider it till about 6 months. And like he told me that the belly button is a very easy revision if someone wanted it, and it's actually done in office. So they just numb you and like fix
And get
it.
it. Oh.
Yeah, because how it heals, it's different for everyone. You know what I mean? But there's, yeah, even like,
and I have noticed that too with like patients and stuff, when people post like before and after, like right when they get their surgery done, you see their belly button, you're like, oh crap, their belly button's not gonna turn out, and then you see it 6 months and you're like, oh, that actually turned out pretty good, you know what I mean? Like
it was like huge, and like now it's smaller, and like he's like, it's gonna get smaller and smaller. And he also brought up like when I stand up, there's like little, there's one area that's a little bit puffy, and I'm still swollen. Like you literally are still swollen forever. And, but they can also do lipo in office. Like they numb you, and they would only do lipo in that one area. Like, because sometimes your body holds more, I don't think it's water. I think it's still fat. Like it holds different areas, you know? So that's an option too. But there's just so many things now that can be done, and it's crazy. It's crazy how many things there are.
No, I feel you. I think right now where I'm at with plastic surgery, again with the baby stuff, but I also want to I don't want to lose more weight, but I want to work out and see what it would look like toned before I go get skin removed, so then that I know like what I want to get done, because I know that my thighs are kind of bad right now, because I mean my legs got pretty big when I think a lot of people carry it in their midsection, and I did carry it a lot in the midsection of my boobs, so my thighs were really big too. So I think I need like a thigh lift or at least some skin removed there, but I want to see like if I worked out and like got my legs to be more muscular, because I feel like I'm 140 because I'm scrawny. I feel like I have no muscle. I just have like skin, you know what I mean?
See,
and people see that.
Yeah, like if you start like weight training and stuff, you might go up in weight, but it's crazy because you're gonna see your body like it changes.
Yeah,
like, that's what I did. I did oh my gosh, weights since 2 months post-op. Like that's all I did was weight training. That's why I think it helps so much with my loose skin, like on my arms and my legs and stuff. But my stomach, there was nothing to be done. Like you can't do anything for your stomach. Like for loose skin, you can't do anything. Like for your legs and your arms, I feel like you can like build muscle and stuff, but for your stomach, you can't get a six-pack. You can't like tone if you have like me, I had 10 pounds of freaking loose skin. Like there's nothing you can do about that, you know? So, and people don't understand that. People are like, just do weights, and I'm like, that doesn't work when you
That's what people say at work all the time when they're like, oh, you want to get plastic surgery? Literally just lift, just work out and eat healthy. And I was like, bro, I already lost 100 pounds. The skin is there. It's not coming off. Like, it's so bad. Yeah.
So crazy. What do you think the hardest part has been like so far?
I think the mental aspect of it, I didn't see that as a thing, and not just like seeing myself as I really am, like weight wise, because I feel like my head, I still feel like I'm fat, but I know I'm clearly not. That, and also I feel like, I don't know, it's weird. Like I feel like I'm more anxious now than I was before I was heavier. And I don't know if it's just because like the eating and stuff, like I freak out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought the surgery would stop me from eating bad foods, and it's not. Like it doesn't stop you as a person from making bad choices. Like it doesn't restrict you or your food intake. Like yes, how much you put in there, but after a year you can keep putting in as much as you want, you know? So I think that's the hardest thing, just like mentally, like knowing that this surgery, yes, is a tool, but you have to learn how to work that tool. You can't just like, you know, that has been the hardest part, I think, especially now that I can eat more. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, holy crap, I just ate all that right now. Like, and it freaks me out like that. Yeah.
Gosh, I know it's scary because I hate to say this, but it's forever. It's for life.
Yeah, it is.
And
to think we went through all of this to go back, you know, the possibility of going back to where you were, like you got this chance, like you can't mess it up. That's what like I think makes me panic. You know what I mean?
Yep. I think about that all the time because we did all this hard work, and but we're the ones that decide that. You know what I mean? It's no one else. Like we're the ones that decide, are we going to go back because we know that that's possible, or are we going to continue doing what we're doing? You know what I mean? Like you said, it's a tool, and we can't get this we can't redo it later. So it's kind of like, figure it out or you're gonna go back. You know what I mean? It's scary, and I can understand when you say that it can cause anxiety, because it does cause anxiety, because sometimes it's overwhelming. For me, sometimes it's overwhelming. I feel like I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to focus on, okay, I ate breakfast. What am I going to eat for a snack? What am I going to eat for lunch? What am I going to eat for a snack? What am I going to eat for dinner? Like, it's overwhelming sometimes. And that's when people ask me, I'm like, take it one day at a time, and sometimes one meal at a time. Because when you think about 1 week, 1 month, you're like, I'm done. You're done.
Yeah.
You're over it. Oh yeah.
And I don't know if this applies to you because you live in warm weather, but how are you with like cold and being cold? Because I'm always like, I have a heated blanket on right now. I'm wearing this. My house is at like 72 and I'm still cold.
No, I'm cold. So when I was big, I was always hot, right?
Me too. Yeah.
Have a fan on, all of that. And now I'm like annoying because I used to make fun of people that were always cold, like my dad and stuff. I'd be like, dude, like, are you serious? And I'm always cold now. Like, it's so crazy, because even like on a warm day, like not a warm day, but like I remember it being like, if it said 65 or 68, I knew that I could still wear like a t-shirt. Right now I'm like, I have a sweater in my car. I even have like a blanket, because like we do a lot of stuff, and I'm freaking freezing. And I'm like, no, yeah, I definitely feel that all the time. And it's not that I'm anemic or anything, because I was scared. Yeah. Like, am I anemic? But my blood work is all fine. So I think it's just because we're smaller.
And I've asked my doctor that, and they were like, sometimes it takes a while before your body gets used to the excess weight being off. And in my head, I'm just like, is it going to happen soon? Because like, Idaho doesn't get very warm until later in the year. Like, literally, it was like 73 the other day. And the next day was like 45 degrees. Like every morning it's like 38. Like, it's cold as shit over here. Sometimes it feels like it's still winter in the morning. Like, my car was frosted this morning and now the sun's out. I'm like,
I heard
Idaho weather's bipolar.
Do you like where you live? I heard it's super pretty there.
I do. So I like that it's like calm. And like, we went to Salt Lake for spring break, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is driving me nuts. It's too much for me. Like, I mean, I love shopping, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I can order things online and they'll get here to my house just fine. You know what I mean? No. And like, living's just different here. Like, I've lived in Minnesota and North Carolina, and it was just busier and stuff. So I like Idaho's pretty chill. So I think we might settle down here, or Utah, because I love Utah. I love the mountains. Like, I didn't realize like how big mountains are around here. Like, other people like, oh, we have mountains. I'm like, those are hills. Wow, where I'm from, we have mountains. Okay, like,
no,
you know what I mean?
I know some people that live in Idaho, and I'm like, dude, it's so, like, I see pictures and stuff. I'm like, it's so pretty. Like, I love California, but California is just so expensive. It's so expensive.
It is. That's another thing. I'm like, oh.
I know. I mean, the weather is beautiful. Like, we have like the best weather. I'm an hour from San Diego. I'm right in the middle of San Diego and LA. I'm like an hour.
Okay, that's good.
So, yeah, like LA, I'm not big on LA. It's too busy for me. It's like whatever. San Diego, I love San Diego because it's busy, but not as much. But where we live, it's like a smaller town. And it's I mean, it's still pretty busy, but not really. But sometimes my husband's always like, let's go to a different state. And I'm like, I like was born and raised here. And
yeah, that might be, I feel you.
He loves
Idaho has gotten a lot bigger since I first like grew up here, and everybody's moving here from California too, and then they buy all the houses.
They're running
like,
from here.
You Californians go back to California. Like, my friend, I have a lot of friends from California, but like during the winter, they were like throwing like water in their windshield. I'm like, go back to California. You need to figure it out. You need an ice scraper, girl.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to like drive in like snow or something. Like,
no, and sometimes we'll get like 12 inches or like 18 inches of snow, and I'm like,
it's because
I feel bad.
It's expensive out here. People are literally like, I know so many people that have moved like to Texas. That's like the main spot where people move.
And it's still warm over there, so that's probably why people don't want to move to Idaho. It's cold. I'm like,
yeah, I had a friend that moved to Texas, and then you know how they got all those like storms and stuff recently.
Yeah.
Like, and they were like, wait a minute, because here it was like 75 degrees. Like today, like it's gonna be 85. My brothers are like, can we go swimming? Because we have a pool like in our community, and I was like, yeah.
85 sounds, honestly, 70 sounds good. Like, this weekend's supposed to get up to 73. We're like, yes, warm weather. 73 is not warm weather, but in Idaho, we're like sunbathing out in 73-degree weather because it's like, that's warm to us until summer. Sometimes it will get up to like over 100, but it's like dry heat. It's not humid at all. So it's different here, you know what I mean? Like the desert heat and stuff, but
I know, that's crazy. I know. I like to see other places, but I'm like, I like to visit places, but I don't know about moving. We'll see.
no, I feel you. That's how I am too sometimes though. So
No. Well, I can literally talk forever. I always have to like cut it off because I can talk
no,
for years and years and years. But
you're good.
like wrapping up, what is something that you would tell someone that was like literally waiting for surgery? Like they were having surgery tomorrow. What advice would you give them?
Oh my gosh, this is hard.
I know. I always like to ask questions like that and people are like, I don't know.
I feel like there's so much. I would say definitely take it one day at a time. Sure. I know a lot of people get nervous. I think honestly, it's such a common surgery. There's not really a lot to get nervous about. I think go in with a positive mindset. But the one thing I think I struggled with the most at the beginning of my journey was comparing myself to other people's journey online. Yes. Don't do that. Like it literally mentally sets you up for failure right there and then. Like your body's not the same. I've seen people who've lost like 50 pounds the first 3-4 months. And then they stuck there at their 50 to 60 pound loss. And I've lost over 100 pounds, but it took me a year, you know, like, so just don't compare yourself to people. Your body's your body. It's your own, like, just work on it every day. Like, don't, you know, and don't, if you have a bad day, like, it's one bad day. Don't let 1 minute of, you know, a shitty situation, like, yes, you had a freaking donut. Who cares? Move on. Just don't have one every freaking day for every meal. You know what I mean? Like, just baby steps. If you mess up, it's okay. There's always tomorrow. There's always a new day. Just take it one day at a time is what I would say. I don't know. That's probably like super cheesy, but
no, but it's literally everything you need to hear because seriously, it's so hard, especially with social media. Like I love social media, but then like you said, it's a natural thing to compare yourself to someone that, especially if they're around the same time frame as you, right? So if they have you're in the same time, but their stats are completely different. Like my stats compared to yours are completely different. Like I lost 140 pounds. If you lost that, you'd be 100 pounds. Like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't
realize.
Yeah. Cause someone messaged me the other day, like, when did you reach your 100 mark? And I was like, 6 months, but like, what are your stats? And look at, these are my stats. Like, don't compare yourself.
And also your body too, because we could be the same height and same weight and we might not lose weight at the same time. Like my body was clinging on, girl. Like it would not lose the weight. And I would like cry and be like, oh my gosh, I've only lost 40 pounds. And I'm like literally 6 months. Like, and there was a time where I lost like 20 pounds in like a month and a half. But it literally took me like 4 months to lose the first 20 pounds. Like most people lose a ton of weight the first few weeks after surgery. I only lost like maybe 15 pounds. Like,
yeah, you see, and that's awesome to hear for someone because that can be someone else and then they think that the surgery failed them and it's not. It's just that it's completely different and you were at a lower weight than I was. Like that's just what it is, you know? And it's hard because some people don't realize that. They just like are stuck to numbers and like and like a timeline and like if whoever they're following, they want to like lose weight as fast as them or whatever. And it's just not, like you said, it's everyone has their own journey. You know what I mean? So yeah, I like that. Even though you said it was cheesy. I'm cheesy. I always be saying things like that. And I'm like
that's me too. Sometimes I'm like, sorry. Also, before we get off, I want to tell you, I love your cheekbones. They're like perfect and beautiful. And I'm just like, I'm literally the whole time I'm just staring at them and I'm like, can I go to my freaking, to my injector and be like, can I get her cheekbones just like that, but on my face? Okay. Like, and you said they're all natural too. So I'm like, oh.
I need to get something though for my under eyes for sure though.
But like this looks so good and like lifted and the fact that it's like your apples of your sorry, I'm weird like that, but it just they look so good. So
thank you. But so this is gonna be on next Wednesday. So I'll tag you and all that. I'm excited.
I will repost and everything. I'm really bad with social media just because I have 2 kids and I work and it's like life is insane lately, but I will get on there and share it and everything.
Thank you for being on though and for being it's been like an hour and like a half, but thank you.
Sorry. Well,
I love it. It always happens. I have some that are super long because it's just like the conversation just continues and I love it.
But yeah, it was nice especially meeting you like in person and video. This is so cool because I followed you for so long, and I feel like we have so many social media friends that we never like get to like see like and talk to. Like it's so weird. But
I love that I talk to people in different states, and I'm like, if I go to that state, I want to see them. You know what I mean? Because
no, definitely.
States, but
well, if you ever want to do outdoorsy stuff, hit me up, and there's a lot to do outdoors here in Idaho. So, and I'm not too outdoorsy for someone who lives in Idaho. Like I just went camping for my first time like last year, which is crazy, but yeah, we'll find something to do.
Funny. Thank you. Have a good day.
Nice meeting you.
Bye. Cristina, thank you so much for being on my podcast and for sharing your story and just being open and inspiring those around you. I know that your story will inspire many, and this is why I love these podcasts, because everyone's story is different, and I know that yours will connect with someone out there. And yeah, thank you for being on. Keep inspiring everyone around you. Keep doing what you're doing. Can't wait to follow your journey. If it's you choose to go the plastic route, if you choose to go the baby route, whatever it is, I'm excited to watch, and just keep being amazing. And thank you so much. If you guys haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment down below, and share it with someone that you think would benefit from this video. And as always, have a beautiful rest of your week. Bye.